Imagine if we actually dared to think and to dream that we were powerful change makers that create change in our own lives and in other people's lives. What would the world look like? Gucci, a free Palestine. Can we manifest both? Yes. And I'm laughing because some people are going to think, yeah, Naomi has really lost it this time, but please hear me out. First, I want to introduce you to two words. The first word is a word called epistemology. It means the way we think about thinking, the way we think about knowledge, the way we think about valid forms of knowledge. So I'm starting this video with this word because this word really grounds my argument. And if you don't understand this word, then my whole video is not going to make sense. There's a second word that's going to come up as well, so keep watching because I'm not crazy. My argument that we can manifest both Gucci and Free Palestine is grounded in a decolonial epistemology, a way of thinking about knowledge, and what makes knowledge real, what makes knowledge true. Unfortunately, we as a society, we value knowledge as anything that comes from a book and anything that can be proved or disproved. Now, bear with me, because I know some people are going to be like, well, yeah, duh, but hear me out. Did you know that before colonization, before Europeans came to Asia, Africa, South America, the global South, knowledge was varied. Knowledge, for example, was oral traditions. It wasn't things that were written in books, it was things that were said to one another. For any Muslims watching, this is why the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was taught to learn and recite what the angel Jibril was given to him. And then it was later written down. But back then, word of mouth was seen as a valid form of knowledge. It was Europeans who came and created libraries as part of their colonial project to erase Indigenous knowledge, to say your knowledge is cap, your knowledge is fake. This is what counts as real knowledge. Read this. And if we then begin to ask ourselves, who writes the books that come into our classroom and our libraries, many of the books are written by white men. Now, some of you may be thinking, are you trying to say that white people cannot be truthful? I'm not saying that. Something that I learned from doing a master's in librarian information studies. Hear me out. There's something called critical information literacy that highlights how our identities can influence the information we believe in, the information that we even share. So white authors are influenced by their environment, by their identities, which is why a lot of white authors have a very global north epistemology, a very white perspective of life that unfortunately is spread to anybody that is not white because of colonialism, because of the system we live in. If we had different authors, we would have much more diverse information. So coming back to this video, why I believe we can manifest Gucci and Palestine. And I'm going to tell you why I actually picked these two to focus on. I am somebody who has Indigenous American in my bloodline, which means that I'm very open to knowledge that, as I was saying at the beginning of this video, it's not just knowledge that comes from books. It's knowledge that is in rituals, in cooking recipes, in artwork. It's knowledge that is unseen as well as the seen. Because as part of colonialism, during the Enlightenment period, there was a great emphasis on logic, on rationalism, on we have to disprove things or prove things in order for them to be true. And again, some people may be thinking, well, yeah, duh, like, how else are we meant to know? Again, pause. To know. From an Indigenous epistemology, Indigenous perspectives, humans do not know everything and anything. And I'll repeat, humans are not meant to know anything and everything. Which is why there was a great emphasis on unseen forms of knowledge. And also, if you look into the occult and higher wisdom, our cultures recognized that there were some people who knew more than others. And you think about even Christianity and Islam, for example, we know that there's priests, we know that there's imams. They're meant to be seen as quote unquote closer to God than we are, which is why they help us to get closer to God. So what I'm saying, to know, humans, and I'll repeat, humans are not meant to know anything and everything. It's not the true way of living, I would personally argue. Now, going back to my argument that a lot of our knowledge comes from white people, this brings me to say that when it comes to manifesting, even neuroscientists are highlighting that manifesting is real. The placebo effect, that if our mind truly believes in something, things happen. We can be healed. We can believe that things are changing, even if technically they're not. Science talks about quantum physics, this idea that the world is full of atoms that are vibrating, and like atoms that are similar come together, they attract. Very similar to the law of attraction, one could say. And that is a big part of what is manifesting. And this brings me on to the second word I would like us to learn, semantics, which can loosely be described as the meaning of language. So in the case of manifesting, I think why many people have a problem with the concept of manifesting is because there's this idea that is very woo-woo. I just have to think about my dreams, and oh, it happens. That's not real manifesting. Manifesting is open to different interpretations. And going back to what I said about critical information literacy, how our identity is going to impact information, what we believe in, what we share. For me, manifesting is, it's not just we sit and things happen. There has to be an element of action, which is why we're talking about Free Palestine, but stay with me. So there's action within manifesting. It wasn't that I was just sitting here and then I've got my Gucci bag. I manifested my Gucci bag, by the way, which is why the title of the video is called Manifest Gucci, Manifest Free Palestine. If I tell you how I manifested my Gucci bag, I think some of you will be like, that's not manifesting. Because again, we have this very rigid view of what manifesting means. We have this rigid view on life, to be honest, which is why I started the video with the word epistemology. Our way of thinking is very rigid. So I already know, for those who are not open-minded or don't like new ideas or don't like to see new perspectives, they're not going to like this video. For the ones who are still watching, thank you for watching. And yeah, how I manifested this Gucci bag is I am somebody who believes that humans, we are meant to live abundant lives. I don't think it's okay and acceptable that we are born into this world and from day one we're here to struggle. We're born into a world where everything is free. Food is free. Food grows in the land, food grows on the trees. Food, sorry if you're vegan, but you know, animals can provide food. Animals can provide liquid. Animals can provide milk. We can get liquid from nature, from rain, from snow. Everything that we need is free, but everything that we need is sold back to us. We need to buy our food. We need to buy our liquid. We need to buy clothes that clothe us. We need to buy shelter. It's actually crazy. It's all a scam. There's a lot of things that have been disrupted by colonialism. This way of life is not how it's meant to be. But yeah, going back to the Gucci bag first. I believe we're all meant to live abundant lives. And for me, I was very intentional about creating abundance and prosperity. So I went to the bank and I asked, how do I get myself into a financially strong position? And one of the first things they said to me was, you need to build up your credit. So I applied for a credit card in order to increase my credit score. It wasn't to live a life that was beyond my means, and that is a big disclaimer. Because a credit card, for those who are aware, you know that if you buy things on your credit card and you pay it back, after a while, if you show a pattern of paying things back, it improves your credit score. So guess what I bought with my credit card? Guess what the first thing I bought? A Gucci bag. Yes, my Gucci bag. But why I feel like I manifested it is because, again, it goes back to the concept of manifesting. For me, it's getting what you want. So I bought my Gucci bag, and when I bought it, I said to myself, I want to be in a position where I can buy other luxury things without a credit card, where I can go to the Gucci store and buy things in cash. And that set me on a path of working hard to build generational wealth, working hard to become a millionaire. And this is where the Free Palestine comes in. Now, there's going to be some people who may be thinking, she wants to be a millionaire. Oh, she's lost in the sauce. And I understand why you would think that. Unfortunately, we have been conditioned to view money as evil. Money is, quote unquote, the root of all evil. Money is the cause of world's problems. If you think about billionaires who have hoarded wealth, but we view the cause of the problem as the money. We don't view the fault as being within humans who have developed greed. Money can be a tool. Money can bring so much liberation. Our problems in the world are caused by people who have power. Those who have power are, in this capitalist world, rich people. For example, I know that when I'm a millionaire, I want to build libraries. I want to buy lands that I can house people on. I'm not going to be another black millionaire, another black capitalist who doesn't give an F about other people, who just wants to build wealth for myself and my immediate line. No, I'm very much community focused, which is why manifesting, aka working towards a goal of money in order to have power, is a way to, I would say at some point, be able to free countries because of this link between money and power. And power, that is the biggest thing when it comes to creating the world we want. Imagine if people who wanted a free Palestine were in charge of the government, were in the military, if they were in these places and positions of power. Imagine though, more importantly, if we all used our power to create change. I want to actually read a statistic of something that I think is going to shock you. So bear with me. Imagine that research by Harvard political scientist Erica Chenoweth shows that only about 3.5% of the population is needed to drive political change. 3.5%. And she adds that it's not violent. It's not by means of violence. Peaceful protest. You can look it up. BBC article was on this subject. Even when change makers are in the minority, their actions create a massive impact. So again, thinking about, is it possible to manifest free Palestine? Yes, it could and would if we all were focused on optimizing our power, optimizing our platforms, optimizing anything that we could to create a free Palestine. You guys know that that's one of the key reasons why I set up Die for Art by Naomi, my consultancy for the creative sector, because I truly think creatives are the most powerful people. And anybody that has a big platform or even a small platform, because remember, 96.7% of the population don't need to do anything. Somebody who only has a small platform could do bits to manifest a free world, to encourage others to use their imagination and to change their habits. And one of the habits we can change is the way we think about thinking, aka the way we think about knowledge, the way we think about what is true. And I want to quickly read 3 sections from chapter 1 of A Woman is a School that really highlights this, and I'm going to end the video once I finish reading. But if I quickly go to page 41 from A Woman is a School by Celine Simon, who's the founder of the Slow Factory, a platform, an organization, a school that really empowers millions of people. And for those who subscribe to my YouTube channel, you know that I read the introduction of A Woman is a School. You know that I said it's a tool for humanity, and why it fits in so nicely with this current video is Celine says how refusing to assimilate is a form of knowledge as well. So refusing to play the game, refusing to be closed-minded, refusing to think I'm powerless, because think about it. If we are living in a society where we think only politicians can create change, that we ourselves can't create change, that robs power from us. Imagine if we actually dared to think and to dream that we were powerful change makers that create change in our own lives and in other people's lives. What would the world look like? I'm going to quickly flick to page 26, because Celine just said the refusal to assimilate, the refusal to be erased by a dominant culture that is created by education, the education systems, the school systems, the white books that we read, or even people who are not white who still have the colonial mindset. And this is something that Celine actually talks about. There are still people with a colonial mindset, and a colonial mindset is a mindset that wants to dominate, that has forgotten the indigenous values of living in harmony with nature and each other, that upholds colonial values and supports segregation and division, that prioritizes status, proximity, and access over compassion, connection, and sacredness. And that goes back to billionaires. We view money as the root of evil. We don't view it as the greed. We don't view it as the prioritization of the status of a billionaire to prioritize profit. And how do you prioritize profit? Let's say we make a product, and I make this product for £5, but I sell it to you for £100. And I do that, I add such a big increase because I value the proximity and access to wealth. I value getting money versus the connection and the compassion and sacredness, which is why I should add that Die for Arts is a decolonial business model, that for people who are struggling, let's say students or freelancers, that I have an equitable business model. You can pay in installments. And I have a separate fee for large corporations who have the money to pay me, and by paying me in full allows me to work with grassroots organizations that don't have the money. But going back to what Celine said, how education creates a system and culture. Education creates the culture, which then becomes powerful tools of social control. Remember, what would the world look like if we dared to realize we could be powerful change makers? If we had the answers, we had the solutions. We weren't waiting for others to give us permission to do things for humanity. We weren't just being sheep and mindlessly obeying. No, we were critical thinkers, which is what true education should be. True education should encourage us all to be critical thinkers, which is why we need to go back to words such as epistemology and semantics. We need to question what words really mean and who gave us those meanings. And are we allowed to create our own meaning? Are we allowed to evolve meanings? Are we allowed to evolve our ways of thinking, our epistemology? I hope that I've given you an ideological framework, a way of thinking that is free. Thoughts on why you can manifest a free Palestine, because I believe manifesting is action. We need to take action towards our goals, and I believe that if we all took action to creating a free Palestine, we would create a free Palestine. Let me know your thoughts on this video, like and subscribe. I am going to be reading other chapters from A Woman is a School, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you think I'm crazy, or do you think I'm onto something? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another video very, very soon. Bye.